Hello, welcome to my channel. My channel is called Serenity and Strength, and it covers my widowhood journey together with my wellness journey. In this particular episode, I have continued with what I was discussing last time to do with issues around the loss of my child, which have had an impact on what took place during my husband's funeral. If you have not subscribed, I kindly request that you do so. Subscribe, and as I'm always saying, it does not cost you anything. Once you subscribe, you'll find that whenever I post a new or do a new post, you'll automatically be notified, and you'll be able to keep on following without having to look for the videos as such. Do also like and share. Apart from that, I would really love to have some comments, because if you've gone through similar situations or something close to it, it's good to share, let others know so they can learn from it. They're not easy situations, but I believe that in discussing them, you're helping others. In sharing, one is that we reduce the load for others, and then even for ourselves through sharing, you're actually caring for others, and as you care, I think it also gives you self-care. So those are things which are very important for all of us. And I think that generally as women, we need to take care of each other. We need to take care of each other, and as far as possible, we need to try to be independent, know that we are worthy, and always turn to God for everything. My name is Joyce Onyango, and as I tell my story, it's not for purposes of shaming anybody, but it is to help others who go through similar situations to be able to navigate them. In the last recording, I had indicated that we received the news of the death of the elder, and were getting ready to travel home for the funeral. Now, just the day before we were supposed to go for the funeral, then my mom, who had not been able to come for the funeral of our son, arrived together with a sister. So this meant that we're not going to be able to travel all together for the funeral, because according to the way it's done, they would not be able to go and see the grave of my son, which they're supposed to see first, before going to actually see or attend the funeral for the elder. So in that particular circumstance, we remained behind, my mom and I, and also somebody else who we were going to travel with. And we left now the day after the elder had been buried. So the day that we arrived, we went to my son's grave. My mom and sister were able to pay their respects at the grave of my son the day that we arrived. Then the next day is when now we all went actually to the grave of now the elder, so that we could pay our respects at that particular point in time. One thing which I found very interesting is that when we arrived, we actually found that my father-in-law, his stepbrother, and all their wives, except for one, had gotten all their heads shaved, so they all had bald heads. Although you'll find that quite a lot of the times they were either wearing hats, that is the men, and then the women were actually tying headscarves. But from time to time you'd find the headscarves would slip off because of the heads being just bald. And yeah, so I found that one of the ladies had not had her hair shaved, and I tried to find out why that was the case, and actually nobody wanted to tell me. So, but eventually I did find out anyway. I think about 2 days after we had arrived, we did go to visit another elderly lady who was in another location. And those who went, it was my mom, my sister, my husband, and myself. When we got there, my husband went to see some other people who were in the neighborhood and left us there. But I did notice that there was quite a bit of hostility from her. And we were also left with a cousin of my husband. And that was for purposes of any kind of translation that needed to be done. Because yes, I could hear the language, but I was not that fluent in talking. So we were actually left with the two of them. At some point, started walking up and down, and she was muttering under her breath. And what she was muttering was, "Why did they kill the child? Why did they kill the child?" Now, I could hear what she was saying. So my mom was wondering that what is it? Because she could hear the kill, but what she was saying, the kill was sort of like similar to whatever we also say. But she was saying, what is she saying? What are you talking about this kill? What is that? So I said, well, what I can hear is that she's saying, why did they kill the child? And I'm just wondering. So my mom asked the guy who was there that what is she saying? Because from what we are hearing, it's like she's saying, why did they kill the child? So this guy just laughs and says, that is just jokes between women. So my mom said, no, that can't be a joke. When you talk of killing, killing cannot be a joke. So what is this? What is she saying? Because the child who died very recently, that is Jim. So what is she actually saying? The guy reluctantly said, actually what it is that your daughter actually went out with somebody, was unfaithful to her husband, and then came back and killed the child by touching the child. So my mom was like, what? What are you saying? So she said, no, this is not right. This is not right. So she asked a number of questions, which they couldn't really respond to. And there was quite a bit of tension. When my husband came back, of course, he noticed the tension and he asked, what is it? So his cousin explained to him, and I also, my mom also tried to say, whatever we've been told, and I could see his face. He looked just, like just shaken and just like horrified in a way because I think it was not supposed to come out like that. And he even said, no, that's not what it's supposed to be. Not what it's supposed to be. So anyway, we left there, went back to the home, and when we got home, of course, my mom raised the issue because she said there's no way she's going to keep quiet about such a thing, and she's quite disappointed in how the whole thing was handled. In fact, at that point in time, when this lady was saying what she was saying, and then this guy also translated and said whatever, everything just fell into place. The way I was being treated, the hostility, the kind of feeling that I was getting, the negativity, it all fell in place and I could see where it was all coming from. So I did explain to my mom before they had the meeting, and we were also called into that meeting. I remember at some point I was being told that, I needed to have known how I was to handle such situations. I said, what situations? He said, no, when you go and such things happen out there, you're supposed to do certain things and you needed to have known what to do. I said, you know what? I don't need to know what to do because I did not do anything wrong. So there is no need to tell me that I need to know how to do certain things or how to handle it. I never needed to know, and actually, I don't even need to know, and I don't want to know. Because according to the way I'm brought up, according to my value system and whatever, I have no intention of doing such things, and I don't need to know. So, he looked at me like not quite knowing what to say. But there were a lot of discussions that took place, and all I can say is that God had a hand in all of this, in having my mom come at the time when she did. Because had she come much earlier on, at the time of the actual funeral for my son, some of this may not have come out. Because the way it was being handled, it was like I was not supposed to be confronted with it, but made to do certain things. So at least the revelations of the accusations came out when she was actually there, and she was able to handle it appropriately. So after all that, she eventually left and went back to Uganda. Then before we left for Eldoret, I also found out the reasons for the non-shaving of the head of one of those ladies. And her head was not shaved because of the fact that she had not had dowry paid on her. So at that point in time, when I found that out, I also told them that, you know something, we got our marriage registered at the Aegis Chambers. You have not paid any dowry on me. So as far as I'm concerned, by your own traditions, you don't have any right to do those things or to ask me to do some of those things. And actually, when I said that, there was just complete silence. One thing with our dad, God bless his soul, he never wanted dowry for any of his daughters. For him, the main thing was that you should marry his daughter in church and allow her to practice her Christian beliefs and faith, and at the same time, you should look after her happiness. So for us, as I said before, we got married at the Aegis Chambers in Mombasa initially, and then we got married in a Catholic church in Glasgow. So he did not want us to compromise the beliefs, the Christian beliefs that were brought up in, and also the principles of integrity which have been nurtured in us throughout our upbringing. So for him, it was, if you're not going to be treated well, he said he had no qualms whatsoever with you going back home. And what we should know all the time is that the doors of home were always wide open, and they're always willing to have us back. Another item that we can use with cinnamon for water infusion is ginger. We'll bring 1 liter of water to boil, and the ginger that we use, it is the raw ginger, and we'll cut about 3 slices of that, and the slices are not very thick, and we'll use cinnamon, and the cinnamon is about 3 to 2 sticks or just a few pieces of the cinnamon. Once the water has boiled, we're going to put all those ingredients inside and reduce the water to let it simmer, and it simmers for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it should be ready. And once it's ready, the color will change, it will look brownish in color. You could also use dry ginger instead of the fresh ginger. The dry ginger has got an earthier taste and it is more concentrated, whilst with the fresh ginger, it has a very vibrant and zesty flavor. If you're going to use the dry ginger, you use about half a teaspoon to a quarter teaspoon, depending on your taste. Once the mixture is ready, it's brown in color, you strain whatever you're going to drink into a cup, and you drink it when it is hot or warm, depending on your liking. Whatever is left in the saucepan, you will cover and leave it, and when you want to use it again, you'll also strain it and also heat it up or warm it up as you'd like it to be. Now this drink is going to aid with the digestion, it eases any bloating, it also is very good for cold days as it warms the body. It will help relieve any sore throat and congestion that you may have. Do share with me and let me know what combinations that you liked. Do also find time to look at the comments. Enjoy. Kindly subscribe, like and share. Bye. See you in the next.